Well, it's a new year. If you're thinking about buying a home this year, you might be wondering if you've got the timing right. Now, before you make up your mind, I think it could be helpful to take a look at last year and get a feel for how that finished out and maybe what we can expect this year. So let's get into it. So if you're thinking about buying a home, you might be wondering, where is the market headed? I wanted to pull some data to kind of illustrate that. And this is a look at the median home price across Utah and where it's ended up annually. So we have the last several years here, and you can see that back in 2017, the median home price was $300,000. That would be amazing to buy a home for that now. In 2022, median home price is around $520,000. So absolutely, if you've owned a home for the last 5 or 6 years, your home has gone up quite a lot in value. More specifically, at these last couple of years, from 2021 to 2022, home values rose about $65,000. So yes, the short answer is home values have gone up. The real question is, where will they go from here? Yes, the market definitely has gone up from where it was in 2021, but I think it helps to look at the quarterly comparison because in the details lies, I feel like, the answer of where the market is really headed. So in Q1 of 2022, we start around 515 for the median home price. Things peak in quarter two, and that's when we start to see all the rate increases and everything, and it has a dramatic effect on everything through the rest of the year. And in quarter four, we finish right around 500. So yes, the market still has gone up overall from where we were in 2021 of around 455,000 for the median home price. But the observation here, and I feel like the greater question is this trend a sign of things to come? After last year, I have two major takeaways, and those are that the monthly payment played a huge role into what people were willing to pay for a house. So as interest rates went up, people's affordability went down, and therefore home prices needed to compensate for that. So we saw from the peak, close to a $50,000 price drop. Now, the other observation that I made is, or I guess the reality is that there were 20% fewer homes sold in 22 versus 2021. That means 80% of people were still comfortable paying a higher price than they were in 2021 and a higher interest rate. So the market is still thriving and people are still moving forward in spite of the higher costs of homes and the higher interest rates. If you're thinking about selling in 2023, it might be helpful to know what it was like to sell a house in 2022. Now, the clients that I worked with in 2022 had a different experience selling their home. In 2021, I feel like we could almost slap any number on a house and throw it on the market, and we were bound to get some kind of an offer, no matter what kind of shape the house was in. Now, in 2022, the landscape changed, and it became extremely important for us to get realistic and really determine, based on comparables, what the home was worth. And then from there, even do whatever we could to set ourselves apart from the competition, whether that was maybe fixing a few things ahead of time or just getting that home in extra shape, in extra good shape to make sure that it sold quickly. Buying a home in 2022, things were completely different as well. Now, if you remember 2021, it was like there was 10 offers on every home, and you had to, practically give away your firstborn child just to be able to get the offer accepted. 2022 was completely different. In fact, it felt like we had all this space and room, and there was less stress. And getting a home, it felt like there was like our pick of the litter, right? The landscape absolutely changed for a buyer in 2022 as well. And so some of the things that you could have looked forward to in 2022 were less competition. Instead of there being 4, 5, 6 offers on a house, there was maybe 1 or 2, right? So there were certainly more options. And so you were able to kind of take your time and find a house and not feel like you had to settle or have any buyer's remorse. That was a huge perk of working with buyers in 2022, was just a little more breathing room. The next thing is buyer concessions. Because homes were often cases sitting a little longer, and because there was less attention or less traffic on a home, you're able to come in and ask for some repairs to be made, or ask for a reduction of purchase price, or even get the rate bought down to make the home more affordable for you. So for 2022, in spite of the high interest rates, because that was certainly a downside, there was just a little more breathing room and it was a little more comfortable to buy a house. Here's a quick review of the real estate market in 2022. So first, median home prices end up higher overall than they did in 2021. That's a great thing. However, rates last year take a huge spike, and that has a big impact on where median home prices go over the rest of the year. As the rest of the year goes on, we see median home price decline, and we finish lower than where we started at the beginning of the year. If you were selling a home last year, you probably didn't lose any money as long as you'd owned that home prior to last year. And buying a home last year was great. You probably had less competition, way more negotiating power, and it was probably a lot less stressful of a process because of the lack of competition in the market.